Hi, everyone. I appreciate you guys taking the time to learn a little bit about cyberbullying and what it is and what we can do about it for our students. So, what is cyberbullying? Just like traditional bullying, it is intentional and it's done with malice, typically to maybe like gain some power or some control over another person. But with cyberbullying, it's done with technology, phones, computers, tablets. It can be done through texting, chat rooms, email, but it's most commonly done through social media. And the three platforms that cyberbullying occurs on the most is through Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. And all I know that all of our students have access to all of these things: phones, texting, social media. We see it all the time. The most common forms of cyberbullying are mean comments, spreading rumors about another person, and sexual remarks. Um, just varying forms of harassment. Other forms could include exclusion or freezing out of social activities, which would be like a student is having a party and they're asking other students to not include them. Outing a student, which could include taking an embarrassing picture of someone and sharing it with other people, cyber stalking or threats, fraping, which back in the day we called that hacking. You would go log into someone else's account and you would post silly things. But in cyberbullying, it's a little bit more serious. Catfishing and also trolling, which would be intentionally trying to make someone angry. Cyberbullying obviously is harmful, just like regular traditional bullying. It can cause anxiety, which can lead to truancy, students not wanting to come to school because they'd have to be around their bully. Low self esteem, depression, and all of that can lead to suicidal thoughts or actions. And it, of course, has happened several times before. And it would be an absolute tragedy if we let that happen to one of our students here. Some interesting bit of information. There is a trend where schools who limit or prohibit cell phone usage at school actually have an increased number of cyberbullying cases, and I find that interesting because our school does not allow students to have cyberbullying. You would think that it would be the opposite, that if you let them have phones, that it would give them more opportunity to be bullies, but that is not always the case. So maybe we need to take a step back and look at our cell phone policies and why we have them, and see if it's really worth the risk here. So what can we do when cyberbullying affects school? Can the school suspend a student? Can we take away their school issued technology? Can we refer them to the police? All these are really great questions to ask. Um, the long and the short of it is there's not a whole lot that we can do punishment wise unless it really does affect school. When it affects a student so badly that they are afraid to come to school, or if a post is made about another teacher, then some punishments can be laid out. Um, ex- Suspension or ISS or something like that. Those are the most common um, types of punishments. If the bullying takes place on school issued technology, like the Chromebooks that we give all the kids, we would be able to take away that technology. As far as referring them to the police, we would only do that if it's a serious case of like cyber stalking or threatening of any kind, something that would infringe upon the rights of another student or person. That would be an extreme case, though. So the do's and don'ts of cyberbullying. We need to give students a stake in conformity. Um, if you give a student out of school suspension and they don't really care about missing school, that's not going to, encourage them to stop cyberbullying. It needs to be something that they are not going to want to do a lot. So, like, for example, if we have a student that is an athlete and they want to practice after school, giving them after school detention might deter them from cyberbullying. It's important that we connect and interact. Students are less likely to engage in cyberbullying if they know that it's going to disappoint someone important to them. So it's important that we form those relationships with our students, and we develop those high expectations for them. And above all, we need to develop a positive school climate where all students feel safe and that they know that cyberbullying is not cool and not acceptable. We should not increase formal sanctions. This includes things like enforcing these laws. 49 out of 50 states have laws regarding cyberbullying and the illegality of those actions. Um, Students, their brains are not formally, they're not developed enough to really see those formal sanctions as like a deterrent. They just don't see that far into the future. Um, a few weeks ago, we talked about zero tolerance policies and how ineffective they are. Um, zero tolerance policies. They remove the chance for a student to explain themselves and a chance for a student to reform their behavior. Um, they're just all around not a good idea. And obviously, public shaming. If you publicly shame a student, that they're going to react in rebellion and they're going to want to do it again. It's just not a good idea. And above all, we need to remember that prevention is key. We need to monitor the students. Whenever they use our Chromebooks, we need to see what they are doing and how they are using them. We also need to monitor their emails because they can and they have emailed each other back and forth. We need to listen to them. If a student comes to you and says that they've been bullied, you need to take that seriously and you need to report it to our principal. And most importantly, we need to promote positive learning environments in our classrooms, and we need to develop those positive relationships with all of our students. If they know that we have high expectations for them, bullying is they are less likely to bully, and that is the whole point. We want to prevent all of this from happening. And here are my references. If you have any questions, feel free to stop by my classroom or to email me. Thank you.